Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to high school basketball here on Cable 17, New Bedford Cable Access TV. I'm Bernie Picanisco along with John Carchidi and Joe Cabral, and tonight it's New Bedford High School boys basketball, and it's a big three matchup as they take on the Durfee High School Hilltoppers. And as you see the players warming up on the field, we're here at the Beardsworth Gonsalves Gym. And we're getting ready for what we hope will be a good basketball matchup tonight, one worthy of the New Bedford-Durfee rivalries of the past. New Bedford, of course, in a down year, probably the least winning year that they've had in terms of being 8-8 on the year and looking for 2 more wins in the next 4 games to make it to the tournament. Tough road to hoe because after Durfee tonight, they have to play Barnstable, they have to play against Dartmouth, and they have to play Brockton. So again, New Bedford needs 2 of these 4 victories. On the other side, Durfee 1-14, but I'm told not your typical 1-14 team, John.
No, they're really not. And, we say that all the time when there's a team with a struggling record. We say, well, they're not that bad. But it really holds true in this case. Durfee's, when at times, can play very, very good basketball. They outplayed Brockton really for a whole half of basketball. Mighty Brockton ended up beating New Bedford by a whole bunch. But what happens in just about every game, Durfee self-destructs. They start to play a little bit too individualistic, if that is a word. They have a great individual, one of the most exciting players on the South Coast, number 22, Avery Oliver. He can dunk, he can shoot, he can rebound, and he is just outstanding. Problem is, not too many other people on the roster have been able to step up, and he's been having to work way too hard.
Well, as far as New Bedford is concerned, we've seen the Whalers a number of times, Joe, this year. And it's been kind of a funny year for the New Bedford Whalers because at times they look good and other times inconsistent. And I think that's what happens when you have so many juniors and sophomores.
Absolutely, Bernie. And in our pregame discussion with Coach Rodricks, he mentioned the fact that his team is playing well defensively, creating a lot of turnovers. In fact, they are averaging 25 per game, the opposition turning the ball over 25 times a game against New Bedford. But the Whalers are failing to convert on the offensive end. In years past, New Bedford High had scored as many as 18 points a game off of turnovers. This year, averaging only about 8. So a big drop-off for the Whalers, and that's where they have been struggling on the offensive end. Poor shooting in the last few games, and Coach Rodricks mentions that a lot of it has to do with confidence. His team's struggling a little bit, especially on the offensive side of the floor.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, guys. I mean, this might be a down year for New Bedford basketball record-wise, but these kids have given Coach Rodricks just about everything he could possibly ask for. When you're a basketball coach, you kind of hope, as Rick Pitino will tell you, that everybody's getting the message and that they're going to play hard for you. And this team has played hard from the beginning of the season right through to this particular game, which will be game number 17 on the year. So getting an effort out of the kids hasn't been a problem. And don't feel too sorry for Coach Rodricks and the Whalers because he was telling me earlier, Joe, and I'll say this to all the people that are listening out there, that he's got some kids that are down there in the 7th and 8th grade right now that are going to absolutely knock your socks off once they get up here. We're talking about some pretty big kids. We're talking about kids that are going to grow and be even bigger. And we're talking about kids that can play the game of basketball. So this might be a down year in terms of record and in terms of the expectations that people may have of New Bedford High School basketball. But this team's going to be back, and you can't fault the effort that these kids have put out here all year long.
Absolutely not. And if you look at the roster, a lot of the kids are going to be back next year. The overwhelming majority of this team will be back next year. Guys like Tommy Balistracci's got 2 years to play. So this, as you said, this is a downswing that every program goes through, but they'll be up again next year.
And talk about downswings that programs go through. This is the first downswing that this program has had. I mean, you can go back 21 years ago when Coach Rodricks first took over this team, and if you count the number of Big 3 division titles and being the South Coast champions down here in this part of the state and going to the state tournament and the championship teams, this is the first down year that this team really has had.
Absolutely, Bernie, and as you mentioned, some good players, just a few grades down for the Whalers, and we'll see those young men in just a few years, I would imagine, and if Coach Rodricks is high on them, I'm sure we will be as well.
One of them, by the way, is a young man that's playing in the 7th grade team right now. He's about 5'1". He's a guard. He can shoot it. I've seen him play. His name is Ryan Rodricks, and yes, he is the son of Eddie Rodricks. And for those of you who remember Eddie when he was a player here at New Bedford High School, and what an outstanding basketball player he was here and at Assumption, this young man has got some talent. You can see the genes were carried forward to the next generation. So I'm looking forward just to see Ryan play. He's 12 years old right now, but we know that sooner or later he's going to get here, and hopefully we're all around here to watch him play too. So should be a lot of fun. Meanwhile, the starting lineups are being introduced by the PA announcer here at the Gonzales Beardsworth Gym, and that, of course, is Bob Huckabee. First to come out, number 4, Brian Christ, and yes, he is the brother of Nick Christ. You remember that name from days gone by in Durfee High School history. Number 5, Brendan Kelly coming out on the floor. And Durfee, as you can see on your screen, not the tallest team that we have seen, but again, New Bedford also not a tall team. Number 22 is Avery Oliver, the exciting Avery Oliver, the human highlight film that we've heard so much about. And of course, number 23 for Durfee, Craig Edwards, coming out on the floor. And then of course, Andrew Gendro, number 31, will round out that Durfee lineup. And Joe, with the starting lineup for New Bedford High School.
And the Whalers this evening going with the normal starting lineup they've had for most of the season. And here is number 12, Tom Balistracci. Tommy is, of course, a junior. Next out is the Whalers point guard, number 21, Ariston Aurora. Here comes David Raymond, the Whalers center, number 22. And now Corey Drafin introduced. Corey, number 23 for the Whalers. And the senior, Ebony Owens, wearing number 32 for the Whalers this evening. And we're just moments away, Bernie, from a big rivalry. It matches North Carolina and Duke as far as high school basketball is concerned. It's Durfee and New Bedford High.
There was a time, Joe, I'll tell you, when both sides of the stands here would have been filled with people. Some of the best high school players in the country were playing here in this gym, including Chris Herron, who's now with the Celtics, Marcus Wills, and Rudy Bolgo. I mean, we had some great matchups in those days, and now we get ready for the national anthem as the color guard is coming out onto the floor. And we get ready for the start of the festivities prior to tonight's game.
Folks, earlier this week, New Bedford High School and the entire community lost a good friend with the passing of former New Bedford High School athletic director, Mr. Joe Betancourt. We would ask everyone please stand for a moment of silence in his memory. Thank you. And now to honor America, please turn your attention to the color guard and center court for the playing of our national anthem.
Well, the playing of our national anthem, and Bob Huckabee, the PA announcer, making reference to former athletic director, former football coach, former tremendous outstanding star athlete here at New Bedford High School, Joe Betancourt. And I know that, John, you might not be familiar with Joe other than what's been written about him recently, but Joe Betancourt was quite a legend here. One of the first groups to be inducted into the Football Hall of Fame included Joe Betancourt, outstanding running back. Went on to Connecticut, also coached at the Coast Guard Academy, and was actually drafted by the Green Bay Packers and had a chance to play with the Green Bay Packers for a while in training camp. And went on to be the athletic director here, and he passed away just a few days ago, and condolences to the family of Joe Betancourt. And tonight, of course, this big rivalry, New Bedford and Durfee, about to get ready to tap it all off here on All-Star Weekend in the NBA, a big festivity night tonight here at the Beardsworth-Gonzalez Gym. And with all the play-by-play action of tonight's Big Three matchup, here's Joe Cabral.
Thank you, Bernie. And we have Corey Drafin and Abriel Oliver on the tip. And high school basketball is underway this evening. The tip controlled by the Whalers, and Aurora gives it to Bellistracci, left side of the arc. Tommy with the ball back to Ariston, right side now to Ebony Owens. Back up top to Ariston, left side of the arc. That's Tom for three. His shot is no good. Rebound to Drafin, kicks it back outside to the free throw line, and that was Aurora. Now gives it to Bellistracci. In the paint, Tommy takes it home. No. Rebound up and no good. Rejected by Oliver. Oliver with another rejection, this time on David Raymond. And finally, the Hilltoppers control some frenetic action here early in the contest.
Got some guys playing above the rim, which is kind of exciting. Both Oliver and Drafin, excellent leapers, and they both showed it on that last sequence.
Durfee with the ball, left side of the arc. That's number 5, Brendan Kelly. And now Avery Oliver connecting, and the Hilltoppers take a 2-0 lead.
All right, Brendan Kelly knocks down the first basket of the night, so they go all the jitters. Now let's stop putting the ball in the basket here on a regular basis.
Bellistracci with the basketball, gives it to Owens in the corner. Now back outside to Tom. Guarded closely. Now baseline to Drafin. His shot is up, around the rim and out. And the rebound is controlled by the Hilltoppers. And Brian Christ has the basketball. Christ crosses the timeline, being guarded by Aurora. Christ with the basketball, left side to Kelly. Baseline, a pass intended down low for Oliver is errant, and it's stolen by the Whalers. And here is Ariston Aurora, giving it to Bellistracci, who takes it to the hole, and Tom is fouled and will go to the line to shoot 2.
Love how Tommy is fearless, and whenever he gets the basketball, always looks, see if he can drive and draw some contact.
And that foul goes against Andrew Gendro. That'll be the first personal foul against the Durfee Hilltoppers. They'll send Bellistracci to the line. Tom 0 for 2 from the floor here in the early going, trying to get on track.
14:22 left in the first half. Bellistracci's first free throw attempt is no good. The Hilltoppers leading 2-0 early in the contest. We're coming to you from the Beardsworth-Gonzalez Gymnasium on the campus of New Bedford High School. Bellistracci's second attempt is up and good, and the Whalers trail 2-1. Durfee trying to inbound, and the Whalers with full court press right away. The steal by Drafin, gives it to Owens. He takes it to the hole. His shot is up and no good, but he is fouled, and the foul will be assessed to number 4, Brian Christ.
I'm real curious to see how Durfee handles this press. Brian Christ is very new to the point guard position. He's only played it the last few games. Georgie Cabral started the season at the point. Chris has done an admirable job in his first few games running the show, including that big heartbreaking loss to Brockton. But we'll see how he handles the New Bedford's bread and butter, and that's the press.
Owens connects on the first of 2, and Bernie, it looks as if Durfee might be hard-pressed to defeat the Whalers press.
Well, I'll tell you what, Eddie was telling us before the game that they've been, averaging like a pile of steals there, but just not converting them. This is 2 steals already and no conversion, so he's right. The defense is there, but they've got to start converting those into baskets.
Oliver with the basketball. He gets it up ahead to Kelly across the timeline. Here's Brendan Kelly with a pass to Craig Edwards. Now back outside to Kelly. He runs the offense and gives it to Edwards, right side of the arc. Edwards way up top to Brian Christ. Now left side to Kelly. Now Kelly's pass to Oliver, and Oliver connects from long range.
So Avery gets off to Schneid, hits about a 15-foot jumper. His first basket of the night.
A pass from Aurora to Owens off of Ebony's hands and out of bounds. It will be Durfee basketball.
It's going to be the second turnover against the Whalers here in the early going.
Kelly with the basketball for Durfee. Gets it to Christ. He breaks the pressure and gets it back outside to Kelly. Kelly with the basketball. Gives it to Edwards, right side of the arc. Inside to Gendro, and he connects. Andrew Gendro, his first basket of the evening, and Durfee leads 6-3.
And so far, John, Durfee very impressive with their shooting. 3 for 3 from the floor.
Balistracci for 3. His shot is no good, and the rebound to Gendro. He gets it ahead to Kelly across the timeline. Brendan pulls it back out and gives it to Christ. Brian Christ with the basketball for the Hilltoppers. Left side of the arc, that's Kelly. Kelly kicks it inside to Gendro. He takes it to the hole, and shot is up and good. And a foul assessed against number 23, Corey Drafin.
Gendro, by nature, is an outside shooter. One of the big challenges for Kevin Whiting this year has been to try and transfer Andy and turn him into more of a center, more of a big man. Now that Nick Chris has graduated. Nick, of course, they're a big center for the last few years. Andy has had some struggles, has had games where he's just really hasn't, you wouldn't even know that he's been on the floor. But he seems like, at least in this game, he's starting to get the hang of this center position.
All right, and let's get an opportunity, if we can, to see that play again as you see him going to the basket and laying it in on the cut.
Then a blizzard hit.
And then the blizzard came, and we got snowed out. We're going to have to get someone to shovel that snow so I can see that a little bit better.
Well, we did see the basket there from Andrew Gendro. A fine move with the left hand laying at home, Bernie, and he will go to the line to try to complete the three-point play.
And one of the things very impressive about Durfee so far in the early going is they're running their half-court patterns. You can see them going through half-court offense. Kevin Whiting's got them in that different type of game, not the fast-breaking game, but the setup type of game. And they're 4 for 4 from the floor, and you see the play right here. Watch the man cut to the basket, and you'll see the pass to him as he comes down the lane and puts it in with the left hand. Nice play there by Gendro, cutting to the hoop, and now he'll try to make it a three-point play.
Gendro, a 6'4" junior from the line. He rolls it around and in. And Durfee leads 9-3 early in the contest. Owens beating the pressure. Pull-up jumper from Ebony off the glass is good.
I tell you, that's not an easy thing to do when your momentum's taking you behind the basket to get that angle just right.
The Whalers with a near steal, but Edwards regains. Gives it to Kelly. His long-range jumper is good. Counted only for 2, however, but that's Brendan Kelly. Durfee leads 11-5.
Durfee on fire from the floor. They haven't missed, Joe.
Owens for 3. Front rims it. Tap is up and in by Corey Drafin.
Corey just hung out above the rim for I'd say a good half hour.
A fast-paced start to this contest.
A fast-paced half hour.
Good point, Bernie. Durfee has the basketball. Here's Brian Christ. Right side of the arc to Gendro. Gendro back up top to Christ. Whalers in a 2-3 zone. Long-range jumper by Gendro is short. New Bedford will inbound.
I'm sorry, Joe, that's exactly what's been killing the Hilltoppers. They have this great half-court offense working for them. All of a sudden, they just start standing around and hope for somebody, hopefully Oliver, to make some sort of play.
Well, that was the first time, Joe, that we've seen poor shot selection on the part of Durfee.
12 minutes even remaining in the first half. Durfee leads 11-7. Aurora, top of the key, gives it left side to Balistracci, and then to Raymond, back to Balistracci. He rolls one home. A runner from Tom Balistracci hangs there for about a half an hour, as John would say, and then falls through. And Durfee leads 11-9.
Half hours are getting shorter and shorter.
It's that daylight savings time, Bernie. Christ with the basketball, right side to Edwards. Edwards brings it back out and gives it to Christ. Down low, a pass intended for Gendro is stolen by Drafin, and the Whalers have the basketball. Here's Aurora. Penetration, give it to Owens. His shot is blocked by Christ, but the foul called against Brian, and Owens going to the line.
That'll be his second personal foul. It'll send Ebony Owens to the foul line. Owens is 2 for 2 from the foul line tonight, and a total of 4 points.
We talked about last year's team and the future of this program and how there's a lot of things to really look forward to and a lot of guys to hang around as we look at the replay. And Ebony taking it strong to the hole. One person they really will miss is Ebony Owens. He's done a fantastic job stepping in this year with virtually little to none varsity experience, and he's just done a great job. Very exciting player.
Owens makes 1 of 2, and the Whalers trail by 1. Here is Christ with the basketball, right side to Edwards. Back up top to Oliver. We've not seen too much from Avery so far this evening. Here's Edwards for 3. His shot is no good, and the rebound to the Whalers. Aurora ahead for Raymond. Can't get a handle on it. The ball out of bounds off of New Bedford, and it will be Durfee basketball.
Good idea.
Third turnover against the Whalers as Durfee will inbound it along the baseline.
Here's Kelly with the basketball for Durfee. Pressured, but he gets it back to Christ. Christ with the left hand breaks the pressure, and now the ball in the hands of Oliver, and he connects. A sweet jumper from Avery Oliver, about a 15-footer from the right side of the arc, and the Hilltoppers lead by 3. A steal. Edwards to the hole, lays it up, no good. Rebound. Oliver jams it home. Avery Oliver with some springs in them legs, jams it home, and it's 15-10 Durfee.
Avery showing us some ups on that one.
I can do it.
Aurora top of the key, and he travels.
I'm just curious, if you can do that, does it take like one of your half hours to get it done?
2 words, 6-foot net.
It takes him about 10 minutes to find the ladder, about another 15 or so to climb it, and 5 to fall down. And there we see Avery Oliver with the follow and the putback jam, and that gave Durfee a 15-10 lead. Durfee breaks the Whalers press, and here is Brian Christ with the basketball. To Brendan Kelly, back to Christ. Way outside. Christ with the basketball, looking to the right side in Edwards. He gives it to him there outside the arc. Guarded closely by Rocha. Now Christ gives the ball to Oliver. His pull-up jumper is long, and Avery taps it outside, however, to Brendan Kelly. Kelly stepping in now, steps back for the jumper. His shot is short, and the rebound to Rocha. Rocha with the basketball for New Bedford behind the back, crossing the timeline. Here's Michael, gives it down low to Raymond. He takes it to the hole. His shot is up and no good, but the foul called against number 5, Brendan Kelly of Durfee.
Yeah, Michael Rocha that time doing it all. Getting the rebound, dribbling behind his back, bringing it down court, finding the open man. Only thing that didn't happen was the conversion of the basket, but he'll go to the foul line, and that's David Raymond to try to convert from the free throw line.
15-10, Durfee leads. Now 15-11 as Raymond connects on the first of 2. 9:35 left in the first half. David with the right hand dribble. Shot is short, and the rebound to Durfee and Gendro. Here's Brian Christ now with the basketball, pounding it with the left hand as Rocha favors him to his left side. Chris gives it up high to Oliver. He takes it into the paint. A pull-up jumper is around the rim and out, and the rebound to Jamie DeAndre, who just checked into the contest. He gives it to Michael Rocha, and Michael crosses the timeline. Michael gives it to Raymond. His pull-up jumper from about 15 is no good, and the rebound to Avery Oliver. 15-11, 9:02 left in the first half. Durfee leading New Bedford. From the Beardsworth Gonzalez Gym in New Bedford, it's Joe Cabral, Bernie Picanisco, and John Carchidi bringing you high school basketball action. Here's Gendro with a 15-footer from the baseline. His shot is good. From the right baseline, Andrew Gendro connects, and it's 17-11 Durfee.
I'm sorry, Bernie. Nice recognition by Chris to realize that his man was open.
Yeah, he was open in the corner. He now has 7 points, and he's the high scorer.
Ebony Owens for 3. His shot is no good. DeAndre scrambling on the rebound, tries to save it, steps on the end line, however, and I believe it's Durfee basketball.
One of the things that you can see in contrasting these two teams is that Durfee is very comfortable as a timeout is taken with the score 17-11 Durfee, and we'll just talk about this for a moment. You can see Durfee's very comfortable in their half-court offense. They like to set up at half court. They like to be able to send cutters through. They're running a motion offense, and they're trying to find the open man, and they're very patient. New Bedford likes to run with the basketball. They like to create offense off the defense, if you will, with steals. But when they get into a half-court set, it hasn't appeared to me all season long that they're as comfortable in a half-court set as they are trying to work the defense and score off the layups.
Sure, I agree with you 100%. And they're just very, very gifted scoring off the defense and with that press. So, when they can, when New Bedford's at their best, they can press. Problem is you have to score first before you can get that press.
There you go. There's the key to it. You either got to score first, or you got to come out and force the other team to run. And if you force the other team to run, well, then you suddenly take them out of that half-court game, and now you create the kind of game that you want to see and the kind of pace that you want to see. And that's the one thing I really have noticed this year that New Bedford hasn't done, is try to force the other team to run as they've done in the past. We're seeing two different contrasting styles almost every time they play.
Brian Christ to inbound for Durfee. And he gets it to Edwards. Edwards across the timeline. The ball is tapped away by DeAndre, and the Whalers have it. Here's Michael Rocha. His pass is deflected by Oliver, but now down low to Raymond. His shot is up, around the rim and in. David Raymond spinning it home, and the Whalers trail by 4. Here's Edwards trying to get by DeAndre. His pass is deflected by Rocha. Another Whaler steal. Rocha with a runner. Michael's shot is up, no good. He rebounds and goes back up. His shot again, no good. The Whalers hitting the glass on the offensive end, but finally Edwards controls the rebound for Durfee.
And there's a good example of the defense trying to create a frenetic pace and coming up with it, but not able to get the layup to fall, or the bunny to fall.
Here's Brian Christ with the basketball. Good penetration move. Crossover dribble. He got by Rocha, took it to the hole, and was fouled by number 22, I believe, David Raymond.
Check that. They're going to call it on Corey Drafen. If that's the case, that's his second personal foul.
The Whalers cannot afford to have Corey get in foul trouble.
That was the call, Bernie. You're right. Number 23, Corey Drafen. Brian Christ's first free throw attempt is off to the left. That reminded me of an Al Del Greco field goal in the postseason. Wide left. His second attempt is up and good.
All right, so we saw a shot of what was happening there, and we're back to live action.
Here's Michael Rocha with the basketball for New Bedford. Gives it to DeAndre, now to Renish. Renish with the basketball, gives it to Raymond at the free throw line. Back outside to Renish, now back way outside to Rocha. Left side of the arc, that's Renish. He takes it to the hole, is stripped, but a foul is called against Durfee.
Now, see, this is what I was talking about. If you watch that last sequence of play, New Bedford was forced to a half-court offense. And what they did was they all spread around the perimeter, if you will, around the three-point circle. They passed the ball to one another with nothing really happening. No cutters, no backdoor moves. There wasn't anything where they were using any picks or screens to get somebody free. It was who's going to take the ball and go one-on-one, and Renish decided, well, I'll take it and go down the lane. They don't seem as comfortable in a half-court offense.
The Whalers inbound, and here's Renish with the basketball, right side of the arc, looks to Rocha, left side of the arc, and a traveling violation is called against Steve Renish.
Yeah, he lifted his pivot foot, but you know it's a great point, Bernie. I'm a little surprised a little bit because they've had a lot of time to work on that half-court offense.
I think that so much of New Bedford's success all throughout the years has been with that pressing defense and looking for those layups and for those easy baskets with the steals and everything. And I think what happens is that's been so much their bread and butter that unless you've got a big 6'6" kid or a 6'7" kid that you're going to post up down low, you're just not going to work on that.
Sure.
Durfee having a difficult time inbounding. 2 passes deflected out of bounds by the Whalers. Durfee retains possession, however. And inbounding is George Cabral Jr. He's just subbed into the lineup for the Hilltoppers.
Any relation, Joe?
Not as far as I know. If we went back probably 40 or 50 generations.
You're all related somehow.
Somewhere.
Well, it's not that common of a name around here, is it?
Edwards with the basketball, pulls up and misses from about 17. And Michael Rocha with another rebound for the Whalers. Gives it to DeAndre, left side of the arc. Now baseline, Renish looking for Drafen. His pass off Corey's hands, but he gets it back outside to DeAndre, and Jamie connects for 3.
Well, no hesitation on pulling the trigger that time. Jamie DeAndre with the basketball. I didn't think he had control of it, but he knocked it down.
Just a sweet, sweet shot. I'd say thus far this season, Jamie's shown the best shot for New Bedford.
And we've seen steady improvement from him as well, John. Early in the season, Coach Rodrigues did not go to Jamie very much, but now we've seen a lot of Jamie. And another Hilltopper turnover, Bernie. The ball off the hands of Craig Edwards, and it's New Bedford basketball.
That is number 6, and George Cabral that time. I mean, he fired that ball like he was pitching a fastball and trying to get it, inside of Dave Justice, trying to get it by him. I mean, he just threw that thing right off the hands of his own man.
Did you have to bring up those dreaded Yankees?
Oy,
Here's Rocha with the basketball, left side of the arc to Renish. Free throw line extended, that's Raymond. Baseline Renish, pull-up jumper. His shot is front rim, no good. Rebound to the Whalers and David Raymond fighting hard. His shot up and no good, and the Whalers control the glass, however. Now Renish with the basketball again. Steve's shot is short, and the rebound to Durfee. And number 15, Danny Johnson. Here's Cabral with the basketball, looking for Kelly. Over the back, DeAndrade with the steal, but a foul is called against number 24, Jamie DeAndrade of New Bedford.
You know, I never realized how musical that was and how poetic that is. Here's Cabral with the basketball.
I got chills.
Sounded pretty good, Joe.
Casey at the bat. No comparison to Cabral with the basketball. Is Kelly giving it to the baseline, and Gendro with a reverse lay-in. Fine move by Andrew, and Durfee leads 2016.
That was a nice move.
Andrew with 9 points, still the game's high scorer.
DeAndrade for three. His shot is good. Nothing but net for Jamie DeAndrade from the right side of the arc, and the Whalers draw to within one. Kelly with the basketball, now to Cabral. He crosses the timeline, and Durfee sets up in the half court. The Hilltoppers, as Bernie has mentioned several times, like the half-court set, feel much more comfortable in it, while the Whalers are trying to push the pace.
I don't think Kevin Whiting, coach of the Hilltoppers, wants to get his team into a fast-breaking game either with the Whalers. And what is the Durfee bench doing? Is that like a little chorus line thing?
That's strange, is what it is. I don't. It scares me. But one thing I will say is, as Gendro takes a shot, Johnson the rebound and the putback. Durfee is nowhere near as deep as New Bedford, so you're absolutely right. Durfee really only plays 6, 7, at the most 8 guys, but usually their starting 5 get all the action, including
A big rejection.
Avery Oliver.
A big rejection by Avery Oliver. As the Whalers said, I'll take it into you, big guy, and he said, but I'll take it out of here, and did so quickly. It will be New Bedford basketball.
That was volleyball.
Unbelievable. Avery Oliver almost put like a Wilson imprint on his forehead with that one. I mean, talk about swatting it away. Whew.
When we were kids, Bernie, they called it a Wilson burger. Baseline, the ball, DeAndrade for New Bedford, way outside to Rocha.
We were kids?
To Renish, once upon a time. Here's Michael to the right side of the free throw line. Way up top to Balistracci. Tom gives it to Rocha. He'll shoot a 3. His shot is no good. And the ball will be off of Durfee and number 22, Avery Oliver. New Bedford basketball.
A little break there for the Whalers. Oliver really had no one around him, and he just kind of lost that one out of bounds.
DeAndrade inbounds to Drafin. And Corey with a little leaner. His shot is good, and it's 22-21 Durfee. Here's a steal by Renish. He takes it to the hole, lays it up and in. A fine steal and a lay-in by Steve Renish, and the Whalers have the lead. Their first lead of the contest, I believe, Bernie.
Yes, it is, and they've converted now on 2 of 6 steals. So
Johnson with the basketball, trying to get it to Gendro, and the steal by Balistracci. Tom takes it to the hole against Cabral and is fouled by number 13, and Tom will go to the line and shoot 2.
That'll be the first personal foul on George Cabral, and you see Tom Balistracci standing there, number 12 on your screen, standing at the foul line, getting ready to take his free throws.
4:01 left in the first half. Tom's first free throw is long. And it was at the 4-minute and 10-second mark of the first half that the Whalers took their first lead, and it's the lead they now possess at 23-22.
Tom 1 for 3 from the foul line tonight, and he'll get his second shot here as we have a line change by the Whalers.
Tom's second attempt is good, and the Whalers lead by 2, 24-22. Christ trying to inbound. Gets it to Edwards, now back to Christ. A lot of pressure by the Whalers, and the ball goes off of the leg, I believe, of Gonzalez. It should still be Durfee basketball.
And there's that Whaler press, and it is causing a lot of havoc tonight, that's for sure. I mean, they really are creating some problems for Durfee.
And here's an errant pass stolen by Balistracci, another Hilltopper turnover. And Michael Rocha with the basketball. Gives it to the baseline, and Hashem, his pass to Balistracci. Tom takes it to the hole and is called for the offensive foul.
Oh, wow.
That personal foul
That's going to be the first personal foul on Tom, and that time they come up with a good steal. Nice pass by Steve Hashem, finding Bellistracci coming down the lane, but position established, and the offensive foul.
Long pass intended for Kelly is taken instead by Gendro. He takes it to the hole. His shot is no good, and the Whalers with the rebound. Raymond gives it to Gonzalez. Having a hard time, but gets it down low to Raymond, who backs in. Shot is up and no good, and the rebound to the Hilltoppers and number 22, Avery Oliver.
Good shot, though, by David. He realized he had the much smaller Edwards guarding him.
Christ with the basketball for Durfee, being guarded by Rocha. The Whalers in a man-to-man now, and Ballestracci is on Gendro. Long-range jumper by Oliver is no good, and the rebound to the Whalers. Hashem looking for Raymond. The ball is deflected off of the hands of David, who goes to the floor hard. Ballestracci lays it home, and the officials signal for a timeout immediately as a hard spill for David Raymond.
Yeah, David Raymond went down, and I saw him, his leg was twitching as he went down on the floor, and he just kind of lied there on his stomach. And now Greg Parker and the trainer, who's, I apologize for not having her name, but they're out there on the floor taking a look at David Raymond. He went down pretty hard. Maybe we get a chance to see that again as David went down on that left ankle is what they're looking at. And you could see him when he was lying there, his leg was twitching while he was lying there. So not a good sign. He's not someone you want to lose right now. And he's getting up on his own, so that's good. And he's walking off on his own, so he might have just been shaken up a little bit. Looks fine as he walks off the floor. Trainers do a wonderful job. So absolutely amazing to me.
Magic touch.
They got the magic touch. They go out there, they just touch the player on his arm or his leg, and boom, gets right up and walks off. It's kind of like a Yoda thing, you know?
Yoda. Yes. Or not make one great.
Eddie Roderick's discussing the call with the officials. The Whalers did put the ball home, a lay-in by Ballestracci, and then the officials signaled for the timeout. So the Whalers, as a result, have a 26-22 lead.
I think that was the confusion, Joe. He wasn't sure if the basket by Ballestracci was good.
Long pass, stolen by Gonzalez. Durfee really struggling against the New Bedford pressure. Here's Rocha from 17, and Michael Rocha connects. The Whalers now with a 28-22 lead. As soon as New Bedford went to the full court pressure, as long as the Whalers are able to connect on the offensive end, Durfee really struggles against the Whalers defense.
9 steals. That's 9 steals here in the first half for the Whalers. They've converted on 3 of those 9 steals.
Here's a pass intended for Edwards, and it looked as if Edwards had deflected it out of bounds with his left hand, but the call goes in favor of Durfee, and it is Hilltopper basketball. Brendan Kelly with the basketball for Durfee. Gets it to Edwards, free throw line extended. He takes it to the hole, his shot is no good. Gendro with a follow, his shot is no good. And Ballestracci with the rebound, and he is fouled by number 23, Craig Edwards.
Now Durfee's having a hard time when they finally do get it across half court to get out of that panicky mode and just settle down and run their half-court offense.
That's exactly what that press is meant to do, though. It's meant to cause panic, to create havoc, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to take them out of that half-court offense. The more you can press like that and get them to act schizophrenic out there, the better off you are if you're the defensive squad.
Here is Ballestracci at the line. Connects on the front end of the 1-and-1. And New Bedford leads 29-22. 7 points for Tom Ballestracci. His second is around the rim and out. And Oliver with the rebound for Durfee. He's going to take it to the hole all by himself. Ballestracci with good position. And the Whalers come up with a missed shot.
That was Durfee's season in a nutshell. They start off fine, playing great team offense. Things start to go bad, and then they just turn into just a bunch of individuals out there. They forget that they're a team, and they try and do it all themselves.
Well, that's called losing your patience, and that's exactly what poor teams go through. They lose their patience out there. You got to trust your teammates, first of all. And if Avery Oliver is starting to get to the point now where his team has gone from a lead to 7 points down, and he's not going to trust his teammates, then he's going to take off with the basketball. I think that's human nature.
Trafin connects on the front end of the 1-and-1. As a result, he earns another as the Whalers lead 30-22, their biggest lead of the contest. 2:28 left in the first half. Corey's Second attempt is up and good. And the Whalers substitute Raymond in for Durfee. And they institute the full court pressure.
Well, it's good to see David is all right.
It's Cabral with the basketball, looking for Kelly. His pass ahead of Brendan, and the Whalers with another steal. Here's Raymond with it for New Bedford. Looking for Rocha. The lob pass gets to Michael. He takes it to the free throw line, gives it down low to Gonzalez, and he lays it home. Give the assist to Michael Rocha, and the basket to Gonzalez, and the Whalers lead by 11.
What a pretty pass by Michael Rocha. I mean, that's point guard stuff right there.
That's what a point guard is supposed to do. Avery Oliver with the traveling violation.
Avery coming up with a new move. The drive, the stop, the hop. Still get the ball, don't dribble.
The stop, the hop, and the pop, but you have to leave the hop out or you'll be called for traveling. Gonzalez with the rebound for New Bedford on the offensive end. And Rocha sends it to the baseline, and Hashem for three. Steve Hashem connects, and the Whalers opening it up. They lead by 14. 36-22 New Bedford. Rocha up against Cabral. Gonzalez now with additional pressure, but the Hilltoppers break it, and Cabral with the basketball on the return pass from Edwards. George with the ball stolen by Gonzalez, tried to get it to Hashem. Fine effort by John Gonzalez, but Durfee comes up with the ball, and here's a baseline jumper from Gendro. His shot is around the rim and out, and Michael Rocha with another rebound. Gets it ahead to Gonzalez. He tries to take it to the hole and is stopped by Cabral, but a foul is called.
I gotta love it though. I mean, you really gotta love the way the Whalers are playing right now, because they're forcing the offense. They're forcing that running game that we talked about. The half-court offense doesn't work for this team. I don't think it really ever has successfully over the years, and I love it when they run like this. I love to see them play defense. I love to see them push the ball up court and force the offensive play.
You know, this kid Gonzalez is a very underrated player, I think. He doesn't get a whole lot of minutes, but when he is in there, he's hustling all over the place and really fits his press beautifully.
And as you can see on the screen, John Gonzalez, number 10, he's either a senior in high school or he's a senior guard. I'm not too sure, but I think he's a senior.
Guard.
That's right, senior guard here for New Bedford High School. As timeout is called and they go to the side, New Bedford leading by 14, 36-22. And I think that one of the things that you'll notice when we go to the halftime stats is that the leading rebounder for the Whalers right now is Mike Rocha out of that point guard position with 4 rebounds. But overall, New Bedford has actually out-rebounded the Durfee Hilltoppers, because they have 1, 2, 3 rebounds from just about everybody that's played tonight. The entire team going to the glass and getting the rebounds.
And that's one thing that Durfee's not doing. You see, notice even when things were going well for the Hilltoppers, they would take a shot and it would be falling in. But if they're lucky, it was falling in because there was nobody for them. It was all white shirts around the glass.
Yeah, it's Gendro, Oliver hitting the glass, and after that, really nobody going to the glass, whereas New Bedford's had the entire team going to the glass, which I think is a great team effort, Joe.
Absolutely, Bernie. And we've seen the contrasting styles here this evening. The Whalers trying to play fast-paced basketball. Durfee wants to slow it down. And when Durfee is not successful on the offensive end, the Whalers are able to keep the game in the up-tempo, and they've opened up a 14-point lead as a result. Gonzalez from the line, the front end of the 1-and-1. He connects, and it's 37-22 New Bedford. Gonzalez spins the ball, right-hand dribble. John connects.
Whalers now 11 for 16 from the free throw line here in the first half.
Cabral with an inbound pass stolen by Renish. He tries to take it to the hole, and another foul against number 13, George Cabral.
And that is turnover number 16 for the Durfee Hilltoppers, of which 12 have been steals by the New Bedford Whalers. Only 4 other turnovers coming about on either traveling violations or something which would call, I guess, an unforced error.
Sure. I tell you, this press is tough. Durfee only has 2 outlets to make that inbounds pass, and it only takes 2 Whalers to just completely snuff out those outlets. And sometimes Durfee tries to force it anyway with what we just saw, or sometimes they try and throw it deep where another Whaler is waiting for the pass. It's really been all New Bedford.
And here you see the instant replay of what John was talking about with that steal.
Renish connects on the front end of the 1-and-1, but misses on the back end. And the Whalers have a 17-point lead, 39-22. Cabral with the basketball, stripped by Gonzalez. A scramble on the floor. And a foul is called, I believe, against number 10, John Gonzalez of New Bedford. Durfee will inbound with 49.9 seconds left in the first half. The Hilltoppers down by 17.
And that, believe it or not, is team foul number 6 against the New Bedford High School Whalers. Nobody with more than 2. That's Corey Drafin. So 6 fouls called against New Bedford with this in what I would call scrambling defense.
Sure, that's impressive.
Cabral with the basketball on the inbound. Gets it to Gendro. Down low to Edwards. His shot is rejected by Steve Renish. And the Hilltoppers will inbound with 43 seconds left in the first half.
He closed that gap in a millisecond.
Yeah, Steve Renish saying, what do you mean we can't jump?
At least one white
He's
man
never
can.
seen me, yeah.
Durfee to inbound. Here's Edwards with the basketball. A baseline jumper by Brian Thomas is no good, and New Bedford takes it the other way quickly and lay in by John Gonzalez. The Whalers opening it up. Soon as Durfee started missing in the half court, it's been all New Bedford. Here's Edwards with the basketball for Durfee, left side of the arc. His pass is intended for Gendro, and another steal by Renish. Oliver takes it right back, takes it to the hole. A behind the back move and a lay-in by Avery Oliver, and it's 41-24 New Bedford. The Whalers with the up quick again.
Oh.
Gonzalez connecting on a pass to Raymond. His shot was no good, but he is fouled and will go to the line and shoot 2.
Well, everybody may love Raymond, but not Craig Edwards, because he commits a hard foul and knocks him to the floor. I mean, that was a hard foul. He took Raymond right down hard.
Poor David's going to have some bruises in the morning.
David's hit the floor a few times. He and Mr. Basketball Court have become close friends.
Raymond connects on the first of 2, and now let's look at the replay of that last play. Gonzalez with the pass down low to Raymond. He is fouled, and he's at the line as a result. And now with a second of 2, David's shot is up and good. The Whalers lead 43-24. 6 seconds left in the first half, and a foul is called against New Bedford.
Yeah, John Gonzalez reaching around behind his man to try to poke the ball away from number 11, Brian Thomas. And that's going to put Thomas on the foul line. As I said so many times this year already, I've never seen that play not called as a foul. Every time kids try to reach around and knock the ball away, it's just automatic. The official says, well, wait a minute, that's in my manual. I've got to call that a foul whether he fouled him or not.
Thomas misses on the front end of the 1-and-1, but the rebound is up and good by Gendro. And New Bedford will lead 43-26 at the half, a 17-point Whaler lead. And New Bedford trailed throughout the first half until the 4-minute and 10-second mark, when the Whalers finally took a 1-point lead after a steal in the full court press. And as a result, now, following some great play in the final 4 minutes, the Whalers lead by 17, Bernie.
Yes, they do, and the Whalers will go into the halftime locker room, I think, for a very positive chat by Coach Eddie Rodrigues. His team did a lot of things right, which we'll talk about when we come back for the second half. In the meantime, we'll break for the halftime action and tell you that here at the half, it's New Bedford 43 and the Durfee High School Hilltoppers 26. We'll be back with second half action right after this. Well, back out here at the Beardsworth Gonzalez Gym, Bernie Picanisco along with Joe Cabral. John Carchidi was in this chair right here. And we see this nice shot of the chair John was in. But he's a hungry young man, so he's out testing the cuisine while Joe and I, being a little bit older and more conscious of our bodies here, are sitting here getting ready to bring you this halftime show here. We'll start out by telling you, first of all, that New Bedford has shot 12 for 30 from the floor here in the first half. And on the other side, Durfee has shot surprisingly 12 of 29, so very close as far as the percentages are concerned. The big advantage for New Bedford has been the foul line, 14 for 20 from the foul line, where Durfee is 2 of 4. So New Bedford going to the foul line 16 more times and converting on 12 of those 16 opportunities. New Bedford with a rebounding edge, 20 rebounds to 16. And as I mentioned, nobody on New Bedford with more than 4 rebounds. Durfee with Andrew Gendro with a total of 7 rebounds and Avery Oliver with 5. But New Bedford getting it from a number of players, which is how they accumulated their rebounding edge. And of course, turnovers, well, 18 turnovers for the Durfee Hilltoppers and 8 for the New Bedford High School Whalers. 13 of those turnovers have been steals by New Bedford, which they've converted into 6 points. So again, not the percentage I think that the coaching staff wants as far as converting the steals into baskets. We'll look at the individual scoring for you, and again, some balanced scoring for New Bedford. Ariston Aurora played in the first half, did not score. 5 for Ebony Owens, 7 for Tom Balistracci. 5 points for David Raymond, 6 points for Corey Drafin, 2 for Michael Rocha, some good passing by Mike Rocha, 3 for Steve Hashem, 6 for John Gonzalez off the bench, who did a nice job, 5 for Jamie DeAndrade off the bench, and 1 for Steve Renish, along with a great block, and a total of 43 points. On the other side for Durfee, well, they've gotten 11 points from Andrew Gendru, along with his 7 rebounds, 8 points from Avery Oliver, along with his 5 rebounds and a block. Craig Edwards, 0 for 5 from the floor, has not scored. 1 point for Brian Christ, 4 points for Brendan Kelly. George Cabral and Eric Kelly did not score. 2 points from Danny Johnson, and Brian Thomas did not score for a total of 26. One of the most exciting plays of the first half came on a dunk by Avery Oliver, and here you see Oliver, number 22, getting back on the defensive end and looking for the basketball. Now you're going to see him run the floor. Now watch this little follow-up here. Gets it and jams it home, taking it right off the top of the rim for that offensive rebound that he jammed back into the basket. And so the Whalers leading by a score of 43 to 26. And Joe, you made a comment. Well, young Mr. Carchidi was out grabbing himself some grub, and we were sitting here talking.
Hey, gang.
You mentioned that it seemed like New Bedford was down by about 9 points. And it was a close game with about 3 or 4 minutes to play in the half, and suddenly they just went on a tear.
And we saw the defense keying all of it, Bernie. The Whalers with the pressure, full court press, and a lot of turnovers. You mentioned how many on Durfee in that first half. An
18 of them.
An amazing total of 18. I mean, 18 to 20 in a game is a lot. They had 18 turnovers in the first half.
I have to tell you, every time I see a turnover number like this, I think about all the years of doing basketball on radio, and I remember a game between Dartmouth High School and Coyle Cassidy at Coyle Cassidy. Are you ready for this? Dartmouth turned the ball over 48 times, and Coyle turned it over 42 times for a total of 90 turnovers in that game.
Wow.
And that's always stood out in my mind because I've always wondered, will anybody ever break that record, 48, 42? Will anybody ever do that? And I think tonight, Durfee's got a darn good chance of reaching the 40 mark as far as turnovers are concerned.
That is unbelievable. I'm sure Russ called that game by saying, and Coyle Cassidy with a basketball turnover to
Dartmouth
and Dartmouth with a turnover back to Coyle Cassidy.
Oh, it was incredible. What a game that was.
They probably invented the first TV video game, Pong, after watching that contest.
I
just want to know, I know the ball's being inbounded, Joe. I'm going to hold you up for 1 minute. I just want to know if the grub was worth it out there, John.
No. I got Twizzlers by accident. I pushed the wrong button.
Here's Balistracci with a basketball outside to Ariston. Gives it down low to Corey Drafin, and it's deflected out of bounds by Avery Oliver. Just starting action here in the second half. 15:50 left.
Twizzler.
It's 43-26, and while John and Bernie share Twizzlers, I'll call the second half action. Here's Raymond with the basketball. Gives it to Ariston, left side of the arc. Now baseline to Ebony Owens. His jumper is good. Ebony Owens with a sweet touch. And the Whalers lead by 19, 45-26.
My job is to keep the cameraman nourished.
Thomas with the basketball for Durfee. Takes it to the hole and lays it up. No good. Rebound on the floor. And Drafen and Thomas are tied up there. And the jump ball goes to New Bedford.
Well, Coach Whiting deciding to start Brian Thomas in the second half. He did not start the game, but he is starting here in the second half. Nobody in any foul trouble on either team. The most that we have for fouls here is 2 on Craig Edwards, Brian Christ, and 2 on the New Bedford players John Gonzalez and Corey Drafen.
And Craig Edwards is on the bench, being replaced by Thomas. Aurora with the basketball, right side of the arc. Nice pass down low to Balistracci. And Tom with a one-hander connects, and the Whalers lead by 21, 47-26. 15:06 left in the contest. Quickly becoming a blowout here at the Beardsworth Gonzalez Gym. Christ with the basketball, being guarded closely by Aurora. Gives it to Kelly, now back outside to Thomas, and he'll be called 4 steps.
Yeah.
Well, that's turnover number 19. I'm going to get excited if we get up to like 38 or 39. I know we're close to the record then.
Tom Balistracci inbounding to Ariston Aurora. He crosses the timeline. Durfee back in his zone defense. Here's Balistracci with the basketball. Top of the key to Drafen. Left side, right side I should say, to Aurora. He takes it to the hole. His shot is no good, but Ariston with the rebound. Looking for Raymond, and the steal by Oliver. Avery with the basketball, weaving in and out. Looks like he wants to do it all by himself. Does a pull-up jumper, and it's short. Rebound to Owens. He gives it to Aurora. Ariston running the floor. Finds Raymond on the baseline. David takes it to the hole, and a foul is called against the Hilltoppers.
I think it's going to go against Avery Oliver.
That personal foul was charged to Durfee's Avery Oliver.
And it is assessed to number 22, Avery Oliver. And number 22, David Raymond, goes to the line for the Whalers to shoot 2.
Raymond was 3 of 4 from the foul line in the first half.
David with a nice touch for a big man, connects on the first of 2.
He really does. He doesn't have the most orthodox shot, and I think that's what they usually call unorthodox, John. Very good. He's got an unorthodox shot, but it goes in. It's got a nice stroke.
And then we saw the replay of Ariston getting it down low to Raymond. He was fouled and makes 1 of 2. Oliver with the rebound for Durfee. Brian Christ now with the basketball for the Hilltoppers, being guarded by Ariston. Gives it baseline to Edwards, back outside to Christ. Now Oliver. Top of the key, Avery gives it right side to Edwards, looking down low to Gendro. Back outside instead to Oliver. Avery way too far away from the basket. Now he takes it to the hole and banks it home.
Oliver that time moving well without the basketball. He gave it up, and then he moved and continued his movement towards the basket, and they found him open underneath for the basket.
You don't like to see your biggest player 20 feet from the basket, but he did, as Bernie mentioned, move well and got it down low and banked it home. And Durfee trails by 20, 48-28, as the Whalers commit a turnover.
That's turnover number 10 against the Whalers, and as we said, Durfee with 19 turnovers.
Brian Christ with the basketball for the Hilltoppers. With the left hand, Brian gives it back outside to Oliver. Takes it to Raymond. Now kicks it outside to Kelly. Down low to Oliver, and you have to like that as Avery banks it home against David Raymond.
Well, if Durfee's going to get back into this game, they've decided it's going to be on the shoulders of number 22.
I was going to say Dr. Oliver's starting to operate. That's 4 points here in the second half, 12 on the game.
Ariston being guarded by Christ. His pass intended for Ebony Owens, off of Owens' left hand and out of bounds, and it's Durfee basketball. The Whalers call a timeout, 48-30. They lead, 13:06 left in the game.
Coach Eddie Roderick's not wanting to let the game get out of hand. Sometimes the Whalers this season, what we've seen is they play real hard, and we saw that in the first half, and then they go into this little malaise. And I don't know if it's because they have the lead and they figure, well, we don't have to work as hard now because we've got the lead, or if it's an unconscious thing. I mean, it's probably more unconscious than anything else. But Coach Roderick's calling a very good timeout that time to make sure this thing doesn't last very long.
Yeah, it caused that malaise, nearly cost them the Hendricken game. Then I believe it was the Barnstable game that we did here that it really did cost them. They ended up losing at the buzzer after having a really sizable lead.
Yeah, we saw that in the Hendricken game, Bernie, real close. You were in Arizona at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Poor
But then
kid.
we saw the game against BC High, and it did
High.
cost the Whalers.
That's right.
Yeah, and that is the sign. I mean, when you have a lot of sophomores and maybe a couple of juniors and one senior playing, that is the sign of a young team, because they do tend to say, if I'm going to rest, I'm going to rest with the 15 or 18-point lead, and I'm going to hustle when I'm trailing.
Durfee inbounds, and here's Christ with the basketball. Brian Christ being guarded by Aurora. Brian gives it outside to Gendro. Now back way outside to Christ. Gendro sets a pick, and not a real good one, and he is called for the offensive foul as Andrew Gendro had his arms extended and moved as he tried to set the pick on Aurora, and is called for the offensive foul.
Yeah, when he realized when he planted his feet, he realized that he was too far away from the defender and tried to make up for it.
Second personal foul on Gendro, second on the team here in the second half.
Here's a pass off of the hands of Balistracci. Tom steps on the end line, the sideline, I should say, and it is Durfee basketball.
Whalers just not taking care of things here in the second half in terms of taking care of the basketball. It's good that they have this 18-point lead because they're getting very sloppy.
Here's Kelly with the basketball for the Hilltoppers. With the left hand, Kelly gives it to Gendro. Down low to Edwards, and the Whalers with a turnover. Here's a steal by number 22, David Raymond. Gets it to Aurora. Ariston takes it to the hole, lays it up, and in. Count it, and he'll go to the line.
That was nifty. His first basket, I believe it is.
That's his first hoop of the night, and he made it a nice one. That's one of those highlight films for cable TV.
That's right. I know the guy who picks those. Incredibly handsome individual. Or so I hear.
Hungry guy, too, at halftime.
Hungry
We
guy.
see the replay right here. Here comes Ariston Aurora down the sideline, lays it up off the glass and in over the outstretched arms of one Avery Oliver.
The thing about Twizzlers, they stay in your teeth forever.
Ariston misses on the free throw attempt, and the rebound went to Gendro. Now Oliver with the basketball for Durfee. Gives it to Johnson, back to Oliver. Pull-up jumper from about 12 is no good. Avery follows it to the hole. His tip is no good, and the rebound goes to Corey Drafin. Now to Aurora. He takes it to the hole again. Now dishes down low to Raymond. His shot is up and good. Give the assist to Ariston Aurora, Bernie.
That's right, and a great job of using your body that time by David Raymond as he blocked the man out for the shot.
Brian Christ with the basketball. Takes it to the hole strong, and the blocking foul will be called against number 21, Ariston Aurora. One of the few times this evening we've seen the Hilltoppers break the Whaler pressure and then take it to the basket. This time Brian Christ is fouled and will shoot two.
Coach Eddie Roderick's trying to work one of the officials here and trying to get him to take a look at maybe that being a charging call, but didn't look like he really had established his feet. Brian Christ, by the way, that is his second point of the night. He hasn't really shot the ball from the floor. He's been their point guard, so to speak, most of the evening. He's 2 for 3 now from the foul line for a total of 2 points, but no shots taken at all from the floor.
Brian connects on both ends, and the Hilltoppers trail 52-32, down by 20, 11:47 left in the contest.
Haven't seen Nick Christ, his older brother, play. That's very un-Christ-like to go the entire game without taking a shot.
That's true.
Here's Owens with the ball on the right baseline. Ebony with a shake and bake, gives it to Drafin. He takes it to the hole and lays it in. Give the assist to Ebony Owens and the basket to Corey Drafin. The Whalers lead by 22. Durfee breaks the pressure, takes it to the hole, and the lay-in by Brendan Kelly. Durfee successful the last 2 times down the floor at breaking the Whaler pressure and getting points. They trail by 20, 54-34.
But that again is a New Bedford pace, Joe. That's the pace New Bedford wants the game to be played at, because if they continue to play at that pace, they'll open up even a bigger lead.
Here's Renish with the pull-up jumper from about 18. He is fouled and will go to the line and shoot 2.
Good call. I have to say the referees have done a pretty outstanding job here tonight. Really no questionable calls. That time Renish going up. The referee was smart enough to keep his eyes on the play, and as Renish came down, he had his legs taken out from under him.
Third personal foul against Chris, so Brian Chris will go to the sideline and pull up some aluminum chair. In the meantime, that'll also be the 4th foul against the Durfee Hilltoppers for this half.
Steve Renish at the line to shoot 2. His first attempt rolls around and in. 55-34, New Bedford in the lead. Joe Cabral, Bernie Picanisco, and John Carchidi bringing you all of tonight's high school basketball action from the Beardsworth Gonzalves Gymnasium in New Bedford. Steve misses on the second of two, but the rebound to Durfee and a rejection by Oliver. Way outside, Rocha for three. He connects. Michael Rocha from long range, and the Whalers lead 58-34. Cabral with a basketball. It's stolen by the Whalers. Raymond, he gives it to Owens, and he lays it in. The Whalers up by 26 now, 60-34. Kelly gives it to Cabral. His pass intended for Kelly gets there, and nearly stolen by Michael Rocha. But the Hilltoppers will retain possession.
One of the Durfee Hilltopper cheerleaders had the basketball. Looked like she wanted to shoot it, but she ended up passing it in.
She may have been able to help.
Johnson to inbound for Durfee. He gets it to number 20, Derek Souza, his first action of the evening. And Derek is fouled, taking it to the basket. But the foul is called on the floor, so it will be Durfee's basketball. They will inbound.
That's on Steve Renish, and that's his first personal foul.
Way outside for Durfee. This is Brian Thomas. Now Kelly for three. His shot is short. The rebound to Oliver. His shot is short. He follows it again, however, and taps it home.
Well, Avery Oliver has really been their offense here in the second half.
Rocha with the basketball. Gives it to Raymond. He's way outside, top of the key. Gives it to Durfee. Free throw line extended to the left. Now to Renish. He takes it into the paint. Steve's shot is short. And the ball is saved by the Whalers, but Durfee comes up with it. Here's Johnson with the basketball for the Hilltoppers. Gives it to Kelly. He lays it home.
Nice passing that time on the interior by Johnson. Johnson hitting Kelly as he cut to the hoop.
Owens the other way, lays it home. The Whalers like the track meet. They lead by 24, 62-38.
And they'll open this thing up to 34 if they keep playing at this pace.
The other way, however, another basket by Brian Thomas. It's 62-40. Durfee trailing by 22, 9:19 left in the contest. And Michael Rocha with the basketball. To Steve Renish, left side of the arc. He takes it top of the key. Renish with the basketball, pounding it. Now gives it outside to Owens. Pass down low, right block to Raymond. Now back to Renish. And Steve is fouled, taking it to the basket. He will shoot two.
Recognition on defense so important, as Renish that time going down the lane really didn't have a shot. If you really watched him, he was under the basket. He had nowhere to go with that. He was going to try to lay it up underhanded, and the best he would have done was bank it off the glass. So an unnecessary foul committed by Durfee. You have to recognize the impossible shot and realize that this is not Michael Jordan who's going down the lane.
Sure.
Renish at the line for two, connects on the first. Whalers subbing in Tom Balistracci and Jamie DeAndrade, and we see the replay of Steve taking it to the hole. Fouled. And now he shoots the second of two with the Whalers up by 23. Steve connects. 64-40. New Bedford leads by 24. John Gonzalves checking into the lineup for the Whalers, replacing Renish.
Renish 4 of 6 from the foul line tonight for 4 points.
Here's a long pass intended for Johnson, stolen by Balistracci. Very ill-advised pass by Kelly. And the Whalers have another steal and the basketball.
You know, I like what New Bedford's doing. You might be at home, say they're up by 24 points with 8:52 left to go. Is it time to call off the Dogs and call off the press? I don't think so, because for that malaise that has been setting in the previous games, Coach Roderick's making sure that they win this basketball game.
Yeah, and besides, there is no song, let's call off the Dogs. It's who let the dogs out.
That's right. And I wish those poor people would get another song because I'm getting kind of sick of that dog song.
Here's Michael Rocha from long range. His shot is long, no good, and Durfee with the rebound. Here's a pass for Oliver. He lays it home.
Well,
Avery Oliver with a basket, Bernie, and the Hilltoppers trail by 22.
And I was going to say it's New Bedford versus Avery Oliver here in the second half. I mean, Oliver really has been the total offense for this Hilltopper team. He's got 8 points here in the second half. and they have a total of 16, so he's got 50% of the points.
That's it, and that's exactly what's happened all year long. They start off well for Durfee, going to lose control, things start going bad, they panic, and then Avery tries to do it all by himself, and that's why you have a talented team that's 1-14.
David Raymond is at the line. Foul taking it to the hole, and he connects on the first of 2.
9 points for the junior center from New Bedford, David Raymond.
There you see David wiping his left hand on his jersey. Pounds it to the floor with the right hand, and his shot is up and good. And Corey Drafin subs in for the Whalers, replacing David Raymond.
Avery Oliver is also going to check in for the Durfee Hilltoppers, and checking out of the game is number 21, Eric Kelly.
To the hole, that's Oliver. His shot is blocked by Gonzalez. Durfee with the offensive rebound, but a foul is called. A fine effort there, Bernie and John, by John Gonzalez, coming from behind to stop Avery Oliver.
Yeah, Oliver trying to take it in, and Gonzalez showing us some ups.
Johnson with the inbound, gets it to Oliver now, way outside to Brian Thomas. Thomas with the basketball, loses it, but Johnson picks it up for the Hilltoppers. A between-the-leg dribble, now to Cabral, now back to Johnson. Left side of the arc, that's Thomas, his shot is no good, and the rebound to Durfee's number 21, Eric Kelly. He gets it down low to Thomas, and he lays it home. Brian Thomas with the basket for Durfee, and the Whalers lead 66-44. 7:45 left in the game. Michael Rocha with the basketball. Left side of the arc to DeAndre. Way up top to Drafin. Now right side of the arc. That's Rocha being guarded by Cabral. Gonzalez for 3. Left side of the arc. His shot is good. John Gonzalez connecting from long range. And it's 69-44 the Whalers.
I tell you, he's having a game, gentlemen.
Well, he's got 8 points coming off the bench, and I wouldn't have expected that tonight from John.
The long pass from Brian Thomas, intended for number 15, Dan Johnson, is too long. Looked like a pass from one of the quarterbacks in the XFL. The turnover, and it's New Bedford basketball.
I thought the reception looked like one of the receptions I saw last week in the XFL.
Here's Jamie DeAndre from about 18. His shot around the rim and out. The rebound to Drafin. And a foul is called, I believe. And it's against number 21 for the Hilltoppers, Eric Kelly.
Interesting story. This kid Kelly is actually, baseball is his game. He's just kind of a big body to fill out this Durfee roster, but he's an excellent catcher in baseball. And in fact, a week from tonight, he's going to Cuba as part of an all-star team to play against some Cuban nationals.
Or as they say in Miami, Cuba.
Cuba.
Or in Havana, they say Cuba.
Pretty impressive.
Drafin connects on the first of 2 and makes them both. And it's 71-44 the Whalers by 27. 7 minutes left in the game. Thomas having a hard time beating the pressure. And Gonzalez comes up with the steal in combination with Rocha to the hole. It's Drafin, and he is fouled.
These Whalers are just so quick and so relentless. You know, they had a double team on the ball, the original ball. They were able to, Durfee was able to pass the ball, and those same 2 kids almost beat the ball to the intended receiver, Avery Oliver. They're so fast, and they're so quick, and they're so aggressive.
25.
It's amazing.
25 turnovers against the Durfee Hilltoppers. 25, and get this, 17 of those have been steals by New Bedford. So the turnover is not unforced errors, as I mentioned before, not many of them. They're all created by the New Bedford defense.
Drafin connects on the first of 2. And Bernie, the more physical the officials allow the Whalers to be in their full court pressure, the more turnovers will result. On that last play, Avery Owens was clearly bumped, but the officials allowed it to happen, and a turnover resulted. New Bedford taking the ball to the hole, and Drafin connecting on 2 free throws. Here's Cabral with the basketball off his knee, but it goes to Gendro. Down low to Owens, and I should say Oliver, and Avery Oliver slams it home.
Avery gets inside the paint like that, and he's going to throw it down. That's the second dunk of the night for Avery Oliver.
Michael Rocha with the basketball for New Bedford. Left-hand dribble, gives it to Hashem, left side of the arc. Steve takes it to the hole. We haven't seen too much of that from Steve this season. And the follow by Balistracci is good. Hashem missing on the drive to the bucket, but Balistracci with the follow, and the Whalers lead by 29. Johnson with the basketball for Durfee. Gives it to Kelly. His shot is long. And Rocha with another rebound for the Whalers. Michael with the left-hand dribble now between the legs, looking for Drafin. And the steal by Durfee. Here comes Oliver to the basket. He slams it home with the right hand.
Avery's now putting on a show for the fans. If they're going to go down, they're going to go down in style, and Avery's going to give John an awful lot of material to work with in his next sportscast.
That's why he's out there.
And we saw the fans, or heard the fans, anticipating that slam, Bernie. They were cheering Avery on, and he did not disappoint with the right-hand tomahawk. Cabral with the rebound of the missed Whaler attempt. 75-48, the Whalers leading by 27. Kelly with the basketball left side of the arc, gives it to Gendro. Pull-up jumper is short, and the rebound to Drafin. He gives it to Michael Rocha. Rocha running the show for the Whalers. Backs it out. Gives it to the right side. New Bedford with the basketball, and here is Corey Drafin. Drafin with a pull-up jumper. His shot is good.
Well, Drafin now with 14 points.
Cabral with the basketball for Durfee. And he is fouled.
And we have a new player out there for the New Bedford Whalers. He's number 31. I don't have him on my roster, Joe. I know we're trying to figure out who he is, but I know his name is Nick. He was called up from the junior varsity. Eddie was telling me about him before the game. I believe that's Nick, and I'm going to find out for you while you guys talk.
Is that Nick the Stick?
Talk amongst yourselves.
Well, John, with 4 minutes and 44 seconds remaining in the contest, the Whalers lead by 29, 77-48. And it's been all New Bedford since about the 4-minute mark in the first half. Durfee came out strong early, connecting in the half-court set from the outside. But Bernie, once the Whaler pressure set in, it's been all New Bedford, and they lead now by 29.
Yeah, this has become a 29-point game. We talked about it at halftime when it was a 17-point game, and we said that if the pace kept going at a New Bedford pace, that was going to expand that lead, and that's exactly what's happened. And by the way, number 31 is the young man up from the JV team, Nick Silva, and this is his varsity appearance. Eddie had told me about him before the game, and I'm sorry I had forgot to mention it to you, Joe.
No problem. We called him Nick the Stick. Now we'll call him Nick Silva. Durfee with the basketball. Cabral gives it to Kelly, left side of the arc. That's Gendro back up top to Cabral. Gendro and Cabral exchanging passes. Here's Johnson from the right side of the arc for three. His shot is no good. And Ariston Aurora with a rebound. Long pass for Silva off of his hands. He's able to save it and gets it to Jonathan Costa. And he is rejected by Gendro. Here's Kelly with the basketball for Durfee. He's dribbling like a catcher, but gets it to Oliver, and he slams it home.
All right, Joe. He's dribbling like a catcher. I haven't seen a catcher dribble since the days of Thurman Munson.
Here's Ariston Aurora with the basketball for New Bedford. He has those short, stubby fingers, it would appear. And here's a steal by Cabral for the Hilltoppers, taking it to the hole, and is fouled by Ariston Aurora.
Of course, John Carchidi is looking at me when I make my reference to Thurman Munson, wondering how he was dribbling. Well, if you'd ever spent the night on the town in New York, you'd know how he was dribbling the next day of the game.
Oh, I think
underneath his catcher's mask.
I don't understand.
Down his chin, John, okay? We'll be more graphic for you.
I don't understand.
Well,
Durfee to inbound, Bernie.
This has turned into a blowout, a win for New Bedford, I think we can safely say, with 3:48 to play.
Silva with the basketball on the miss by Kelly. Gets it ahead to number 13, Tom Roderick. Shot is no good. Rebound by Aurora, and he is fouled by Gendro.
The last time these two teams met over at Luke Urban about, a little over a month ago, it was a very close game for much of the ball game, right until New Bedford pulled away right into the final 5 minutes or so. Stevie Renish and company really having some great plays to pull away, but New Bedford's press in their home court just left no doubt from the 4-minute mark, as you mentioned.
Well, with 3:40 left to play, I'm going to put this one in the win column for the Whalers, up by 27. It's going to move them to 9-8, and that means we can start talking about the next 3 games for New Bedford. They need to win one of those 3. They've got Barnstable, and Barnstable won earlier against the Whalers. They've got Brockton, and Brockton won earlier against the Whalers. And they have Dartmouth, and we did that game at with Dartmouth.
Wow.
Up there at Dartmouth High School, where Dartmouth won. So they've got to win one game against 3 teams that have already beaten them earlier this year.
And that the Dartmouth-New Bedford game here at the Beardsworth-Gonzalez Gym will be an exciting one, Bernie.
That's for sure.
The rebound to Rodrigues for New Bedford, and here's Aurora with the basketball. The high dribble by Ariston gives it down low to Costa. He lays it home. Give the assist to Aurora and the basket to John Costa. And New Bedford leads by 30, 80-50. A long-range jumper by Kelly for 3 is good.
I like what Coach Rodrigues does. He's got the reserves and he's letting his whole bench play, but he keeps Aurora out there. He keeps the floor general to make sure things don't get crazy and to give these guys some good looks.
Hashem with the basketball, gives it to Rodrigues. Now right side, just inside the arc. That's Aurora with the basketball. Being guarded by Kelly, a near steal by Kelly, but Silva with the basketball. Gives it back to Aurora for 3. Ariston's shot is short. And Gendro with the rebound for the Hilltoppers. Here's Kelly with the basketball for Durfee. Between the leg dribble and a steal by Silva. He's going to go to the hole for New Bedford. He lays it up, no good. Rebound by Ariston, and his shot is good. Nick Silva with a chance to score in his first varsity action. Missing, but Aurora with the cleanup. And New Bedford leads by 29. Long-range jumper by Derek Souza is no good. And a foul is called against New Bedford. 82-53, 2 minutes and 13 seconds left in the game. Durfee's Gendro to inbound, I should say. Some of the fans getting a little rowdy as we see the replay of a dunk earlier in the game by Oliver. Here's a jumper by Kelly around and out. Gendro with a follow, and it bounces home.
His first 2 points of the second half, he had 11 to lead the Durfee team in the first half.
Here's Ariston with the basketball. Gives it to Steve Hashem, left side of the arc. Steve into the paint, drives to the hole, and a foul is called against Durfee.
That personal foul was charged to the Hilltoppers, Andrew Gendro.
And it's against number 31, Andrew Gendro, his 4th. 1:49 left in the game. New Bedford up by 27. Hashem misses the first of 2.
Hashem with 3 points on the night, hit a 3-point field goal in the first half.
Steve's second attempt is good. And the Whalers lead 83-55, 1:48 left in the game. Brendan Kelly with the basketball to Gendro. Now right side of the arc to Derek Souza. Souza takes it to the baseline, looks for Gendro, and a fine play by Andrew Gendro. Catching and shooting all in one motion. And the Hilltoppers are within 26. Here's Rodrigues. His shot is no good, and the rebound to Kelly for Durfee. Here's Brendan Kelly now with the basketball. And the long-range 3 by Gendro is no good. And the ball is knocked out of bounds by number 21, Eric Kelly. New Bedford basketball, 1:17 left. 83-57, the Whalers lead.
Well, with that time left on the clock, Durfee with 28 turnovers in this contest, so no chance to break that record I was kind of hoping for.
Aurora takes it to the hole and is hit hard by Eric Kelly, but no foul. It's Durfee basketball. Souza for 3 for the Hilltoppers. His shot is no good, and the rebound to Silva for New Bedford. He loses it out of bounds, and it is Durfee basketball. Check that. They say it's not off Silva, it's off instead number 21, Eric Kelly. So Silva will inbound. And here is Ariston Aurora with the basketball. With the right hand, Ariston on the dribble. Now looks, gives it to Rodrigues. He'll shoot just inside the arc, and Tom Rodrigues connects. His first 2 of the evening.
Gets a big hand from his starters on the bench.
To the hole. That's Thomas. He's stripped of the basketball, but is finally fouled by New Bedford as he lay on the floor, and the foul will be against number 34, Jonathan Costa.
Well, what do you think about this New Bedford team going into this final 3 crucial games?
Well, you know, you look at the teams they have to play, and again, we saw them play against Dartmouth, the Barnstable game. I think Brockton might be a little bit too strong for them this year, and I think that's one of the things they got to look at. So now you got to get your 1 win from either Dartmouth or Barnstable, and I know that from talking to some of the people affiliated with New Bedford that they would love to see that win come against Dartmouth.
Sure. I mean, what better way to get revenge than to win that put yourself into the tournament.
Thomas makes 2 free throws. 85-59, New Bedford in the lead. Nick Silva with the basketball for the Whalers, and I think the Whalers would like to get Silva some points for 3. His shot is no good. And the rebound to Gendro. He runs the floor, takes it to the hole. His shot is up with a left hand and in. The basket will not count, however, as they do not allow the NBA continuation.
Gendro's had a very nice game for the Durfee Hilltoppers. 15 points along with 11 rebounds. You see him, number 31, at the foul line. It's 15 points, 11 rebounds, but only 4 of those points coming here in the second half. He was sort of a forgotten man as they came out after halftime.
He really was. And, you know, there has to be a way to get both Oliver and Gendro both in the offense at the same time. 2 very talented kids, 2 very tall kids, but it seems, you know, when things start going awry, everyone just looks for Avery and just forgets about Gendro.
He makes 2, a long pass to Silva. He'll take it to the hole against Gendro. His shot is no good. All of the Whalers starters, as John mentioned, cheering Nick Silva on, looking for him to score, and a fine finger roll on the other end of the floor by Danny Johnson. Here's a pass to Nick Silva. He's underneath and rejected by Danny Johnson at the buzzer. Silva had a chance for a reverse lay-in, but Danny Johnson said, "Young man, you'll score in another game, not this one." And that's it. Final score tonight from the Beardsworth Gonzalez Gym in New Bedford. The Whalers 85, the Durfee Hilltoppers 63, and Bernie is tabulating the stats, John. We saw the Whalers play pretty consistently here tonight, John, throughout after a sluggish start.
Yeah, I think that the test for them in the next few games, these 3 big games against these pretty tough, talented teams, they're going to face better backcourts than Durfee has. So the question is, are they going to be able to score in the half court rather than just rely solely on the press?
All right, and we're going to give you some rundown of what went on in this particular contest. We'll start with the New Bedford side of things. Just an incredible number that I'm looking at here on my stat sheet, and that's a total of 17 steals for New Bedford tonight. And Eddie Rodrigues told me before the game, he said, we've been averaging about 15 steals a game, and that's unbelievable, you know, and he's right. 17 steals in this contest, and a great job done by a number of New Bedford players, as a lot of people scored points for New Bedford. They were led in this game by 14 points by Corey Drafin, to go along with 6 rebounds. They also got 11 points from Ebony Owens, who had a nice game, 11 points from Tom Balistracci, who also played well. They had 10 points from David Raymond, their center, and they had a total of 8 points off the bench by a young man that I thought played extremely well today, and that's John Gonzalez. 5 points from Ariston Aurora, all of those coming in the second half. They had 5 points and 6 rebounds out of the backcourt from Mike Rocha, so the 2 point guards contributed 10 points. And Aurora, by the way, had 7 rebounds. So 10 points and 13 rebounds from your 2 point guards. I mean, that's pretty good production. They got 3 points out of Steve Hashem. They got 5 points out of Jamie DeAndrade off the bench. 4 points from Steve Renish, along with a great block. They got 2 points from John Costa, 2 points from Tom Rodrigues. I'd like to say that Nick Silva scored because everybody was kind of rooting for him at the end of the game. But, Nick, you didn't get on the scoreboard. Sorry about that. For a total of 85. Maybe the next time. Meanwhile, Durfee pretty much a two-man production unit, as they had 22 points out of Avery Oliver to go along with his total of 8 rebounds. So 22 points and 8 rebounds for Oliver. 3 pretty good dunks that we'll be seeing on highlight films on another channel, I'm sure. They had a total of 11 points from Brendan Kelly. And, of course, the young man Andrew Gendro had 17 points and 11 rebounds, but for some reason they didn't look to this man in the second half. Craig Edwards did not score, had a tough shooting night from the floor. George Cabral played, did not score. Eric Kelly played, did not score. Total of 4 points for Danny Jackson. Brian Thomas in the second half threw 6 points in the basket. Derek Souza did not score for a total of 63, so the Whalers come out with a 22-point victory. And the stats that really jump out at me, 28 turnovers for Durfee, 17 of which were steals by the Whalers. On the other side, the Whalers turned it over only 14 times. They outscored Durfee in the first half, 43-26, and they outscored them in the second half by a score of 42, if my math is correct, to 37. So, again, a situation where the Whalers just had total control of this game right from the beginning, right to the end.
Sure. There's no question that New Bedford has one of the best presses around, and will have if they do make it into the tournament. Problem is, as we alluded to before, in order to employ that press, you're going to have to score first, and you're going to have to score at least some of your baskets in the half-court offense, and they're going to have to do that. They didn't have to tonight, but they will going to have to do that in these final few games.
They're going to have to force the action, and I think that's the key. All right, so the final score here from the Beardsworth Gonzalez Gym, New Bedford 85, the Durfee Hilltoppers 63, and this has been a presentation of high school basketball here on WIMC TV, directed by Bob Parati, with graphics by Adam Desmaris. Also on the cameras, Danny Farina, David Tahita, and David Rodrigues, and of course my two broadcast partners, John Carchidi and Joe Cabral. And for everyone here affiliated with high school basketball on Channel 17, we thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you at our next game, which I believe is a hockey game that'll be coming up, New Bedford versus Attleboro, so we get a chance to do our hockey game, and that'll be coming up this week. And so the final score one final time, New Bedford 85, Durfee 63. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Hey, throw it to me.
All right, nice pass.
Hey, good catch.
Marty, go for a long pass.
We're doing the best we can.
Hi, my name is Marissa Perry, and I'm the recycling coordinator for the City of New Bedford. And I'd like to introduce you to some very important city employees, the recycling crew. In order for us to provide you with excellent collection service, there are a few things that you can do to help us out.
Hi, my name's Steve. I'm one of the recycling truck drivers for the City of New Bedford. We're going to explain a little bit to you today about recycling. One of the things that we ask is that you take your blue bin, put it out on the curb full of recyclables by 7 a.m. on your trash collection day. One of the things that we take in the recycling program is the newspaper. We ask that you take the newspaper, place it into the bottom of the bin, and that you not tie it or put it into bags. And please make sure that it's on the bottom of the bin. If it's not on the bottom of the bin, you're placing it on the top. It has a tendency on windy days to fly down the street, and it ends up all over the neighborhood instead of in the recycling truck. Now, some of the other things that we take on the recycling truck are tin cans. We ask that if you don't take the cover off all the way, that you fold the cover inside to ensure the safety of the gentleman that's working on the recycling truck, that he don't cut his fingers when he's putting the stuff in the truck. And please ask that you also rinse them out. The other thing that we take on a recycling truck is clear glass. On the clear glass, we ask that you rinse it out and that you take the covers off. The other thing that we take on the recycling truck are the colored glass bottles. Most of the wine bottles have metal rings on them. We ask that you take the metal rings off and that you take the caps off and you rinse them and put them in your bin.
Hi, I'm Joe. I'm one of the recycled persons, and we take all plastics, clear plastic, number 1s, and number 2 colored plastics. Okay, and make sure you rinse everything out, and basically that's what we take.
We thank you for your continued participation in the recycling program. And if you're not participating and would like to, please give me a call at 979-1493 for more information.
Know what cigarette lighters should look like to your little kids? You didn't see any? That's the whole idea.